Ask yourself a few questions to discover if a guy that you've been talking to has lost interest, or if you are actually overthinking and you need to self-regulate your emotions so you don't self-sabotage. Yo, party people, it's Ashley of SingleWomanChronicles.com, where being single is a beautiful choice rather than a miserable circumstance. And how y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? I hope y'all are feeling good, feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Coming off of my homecoming weekend, in which I missed. I missed my homecoming. Okay. Anyone who knows me knows that I love tailgating season. I love homecoming season, but I missed my homecoming this year, and here's why. So, homecoming typically entails, for me, tailgate. For me, homecoming, the main event is tailgate. I went to Georgia State University, and although Georgia State is not an HBCU, I feel like we're HBCU adjacent because we graduate like the most Black people in the world or in the country or something like that. So you would think that with our Black adjacent behinds, that the university would support Black organizations. Well, that's not really what be happening. So long story short, our alumni association that is for like the Black alumni that comes back, they host a tailgate every year. Like, we have our own little lot. It's free. We go out there, we get lit, we go about our business. Well, every year for like the past 3 years, something has been going on where like last minute they'll be like, no, you can't have it on our lot. And I remember one year, I think it was 2022, literally the morning before, like the morning of tailgate, the address we thought we was having tailgate at, they moved it last minute. So like they moved it at like 8 that morning, and they pushed back the start time of tailgate. And it was crazy because people had already set up at the original lot, but they had to come and turn around and like go set up at the new lot. So that was like a whole thing. So then last year we got to set up, but it was still like an argument. This year they tell us, oh, y'all can't host it. They're going to charge, or they're going to give us like I don't know. It was just a whole bunch of drama, but it was like, we're going to charge basically. So kind of like Clark, if you go to Clark homecoming, their tailgate is inside the actual homecoming game. We've known about this. This has been going on for years. I totally understand, because HBCUs, private universities, they don't get a lot of the funding that a state school gets. Georgia State, there is no reason you should be charging to get in a tailgate, because you are a federally funded school or a state funded school. You're public, meaning that you get funding from the government. I don't know if it's state or federal, don't quote me. One of them, they fund you. So there's no reason for you to need us to pay you to get in. So there was like this whole hoopla saying like, oh, they're charging us to get in, and they're like targeting the Black Alumni Association. So I'm thinking like, dang, we're not going to be able to go to our tailgate, which is like the highlight of my whole homecoming experience. Usually I go to tailgate, and I'm good. I'm good, because I got to pick one. I can't do day and night party. Got to pick one. Well, because of all this drama, I'm thinking like, are we boycotting tailgate? Are we going? Are we not going? Like, I don't know what's going on. But I also had a lot of stuff to do. I had to work Saturday morning because we have events at my job on some weekends. And this was one of the weekends, because tailgate is already way too late. Like, it's supposed to be last month. Okay. So it's super late. We having it at this in freaking November. I have to work. On top of having to work, it was my godson's first birthday party, which is, of course, like number one priority. So I had to do that. So I had to get up. Then I was hungover from the night before. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm going to lie to you. I was hungover from the night before. And I don't know about you, but like nursing yourself back from a hangover is a lot. I didn't get to do any of those things because I had to be up for work and be at work at 7:45. So I literally got up late. I jumped, took a shower, brushed my teeth, headed to work. As soon as I got out of work, I got off early. I had to like beg and plead to get off early. Then I had to go to my godson's birthday party that started like right after work. And so then people are like, oh, we're going to tailgate. We're going to tailgate. And I'm like, okay, so now we're going. So should I buy the ticket? Everyone's mixed. People don't know, like, how much is the ticket? Are we trying to get in free? Like, what's going on? Nobody's communicating with me. Okay. I ended up going down there because I had to. So I have a friend. His name is Fred Flew. You've seen him on one of these TV shows. I wish I remember the TV show he was on. He was on a cooking show. He does, every year he does his Fred Flu's like turkey rings. It's called Flu University. I think it's called Flu Anniversary or Flu University. I'm gonna get it together. But he sells turkey legs. And so I went downtown to pick up a turkey leg order, and his lot was right across the street from the tailgate lot. And I look out there and I'm like, it looked lit. It looks very black. It looks like nobody boycotted. So I'm like, dang, maybe I should. By this time, it's like 3:00. Y'all know it get dark around 5 right now, 5:30. So I'm like, let me go home, change, and come back up here. But then I was feeling so bad because I was still hungover. I still couldn't eat anything. Like, I'm eating crackers. My stomach is like, no, my head is hurting. So I'm like, you know what? Your friends are telling you to go to the party tonight. There was a party. I bought skip line tickets to the party. So I'm like, I'll just go to the party and just call it a day. I'm going to go home, go to sleep, whatever. Y'all, I went to sleep. I couldn't fall asleep for some reason. And then when I finally got up, I got up feeling worse than I did when I would lay down. That has never happened to me. And it's probably because, like, I didn't do the proper things before laying down. I didn't, like, drink Pedialyte. I didn't eat anything greasy. I didn't do the proper things. So I woke up trying to get ready for the party, and I just couldn't. And so, like, around 8:00, I just started throwing up. So started throwing up, and I'm just like, okay, maybe I'll feel better after throw up. Like, no, this was the type of throw up where, like, your stomach is throwing up because you have nothing on it and nothing staying down. And if you make a swift move, you're going to throw up again. So needless to say, I set this out. Didn't go to the party. Shockingly, so I've had a very, very harsh case of FOMO throughout my life. If you don't know what FOMO is, that is fear of missing out. I have bad moments where, like, when I miss events, especially like homecoming, because I love homecoming, I usually will feel anxiety. I'll just feel like distraught. Like, I don't know. It's weird. But I didn't have that. And I think because I'm getting older, my priorities are changing. It's not the end of the world. One, I'm going to see these people again eventually out at some party. Two, I really made it to, my priorities are changing, like I said. So I made it to the most important thing, which was my godson's first birthday party. That was the thing that I really just had to make it to. Everything else was kind of optional. But that I had to make it to. 3, I feel like, I don't know. I think in the past, I may have spoken about this. In the past, like, homecoming was just this big thing where you get to, like, go out there and show, like, oh, I still look good. I'm doing well, and blah, blah, blah. Like, maybe I'll reconnect with some people. Maybe I'll find me a little boo, blah, blah, blah. But this year, I'm just so content with certain parts of my life that I don't need that. I don't need the validation. I don't need it. I live in Atlanta. There's always a party. There's always another tailgate. I went to Spell House tailgate. There's always something. I'm gonna end up at a Falcons tailgate. I could have went today, but I was tired. But yeah, so I'm just different, and it feels good. So that's my little long story. Had to tell y'all that little story because honestly, I didn't know what I was gonna talk about today. Because, like, if I went to homecoming, I probably would have had a story to tell y'all. I didn't go, so I don't have the story, so I have to figure it out. So I decided, after someone DM'd me asking me about a blog that I wrote back in the day, that I could just pull from previous blogs. If you guys don't know, Single Woman Chronicles started as an actual website, an actual blog. SingleWomanChronicles.com is actually a website. Writing is my first love. I have not been writing on that blog this year. Hopefully I get back to it. I have just not had the motivation, but there are really good articles on there. When I started writing in 2015. This is like when I was really going through finding myself, really going through like my lost phase of dating. This is before I decentered men and decentered like dating. This is when I really found validation in love and in guys and in being wanted. So a lot of those blogs speak to that. And because I'm like in another space right now, I'm very like confident. I'm very content being single. I still want my man. But I'm just in a different space. So the things I talk about now, if you notice, are more so internal things, like what you can do to make yourself better, be the best version of yourself. But back then it was more so based on like what I had going on with guys. But this was a good one, I thought, because this was something I wrote this last year. And the title of this is, am I overthinking or is he losing interest? If so, ask yourself these 5 questions. So I don't know about y'all, but like this mainly for the early stages of dating. Have you ever been dating somebody and like everything's going good, but then suddenly either something happens or there's a shift in him that you notice and you're kind of like, what's going on? And you know, because of your past that you had a little bit of trauma going on. So you may read into things. So you may feel like, oh, I'm overthinking. Is this something that I have to like self-regulate? Or is this something that he's actually doing that's making me feel this way? Because you already know if woman intuition kick in and you feeling like something is awry, you might not be overthinking. You might actually have a point, right? So I had this scenario happen last year, basically, where I had a miscommunication with a guy. Mind you, me and him, we have been talking every single day for like, I think a few weeks, a month or so. And things were going great. Like we wanted the same things. Like we both wanted marriage, both went to church, both had the same goals, blah, blah, blah. Everything was good. We went on our first date. Everything was good. And then the second day we had a miscommunication and then he just started acting weird. And so I asked him directly, because I'm a very direct person, like, what's going on? Like, are we good? And he was like being very passive aggressive. And then eventually he was like, you should know what you did. And I'm like, baby, I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a mind reader. Okay, I'm not a mind reader. So instantly after our like miscommunication, disagreement, I could feel the shift in him. I could feel that he had lost interest. I could feel that I had done something to turn him off. But instead of him admitting that, he wanted to play Mr. Passive Aggressive. So I just want you to ask yourself a few questions to discover if a guy that you've been talking to has lost interest, or if you are actually overthinking and you need to self-regulate your emotions so you don't self-sabotage. Because sometimes when we're dating, especially in early stages, we're so used to things not working that we start reading too much into things that shouldn't be read into. And sometimes it's like, okay, let me check myself. But sometimes your intuition is intuitioning and you spot on and he probably done lost interest, but because he don't want to hurt your feelings, he's doing let me pull back just enough so she can say no and she can end things because he don't want to be man enough to end it. Yeah, been there, done that. So let's talk about it. Okay, so what questions do you need to ask? The first question you need to ask is, what triggered this thought? What triggered the thought that make you say, is he losing interest? Did something happen? Or did his attitude change in y'all talking? Now, if something happened, like, say, for example, y'all know, although I'm celibate, I used to have sex. Okay? So I remember in my days when I was having sex, because it's been a long time. I've been celibate for a long time. Jesus, help me. But when I was having sex, there were moments where when I had sex, I felt like afterwards I would get very self-conscious, very anxious, because I had moments where I had sex with guys and they lost interest because that's all they wanted to begin with. So as soon as the sex happened, it was like, boom, the attitude changed towards me, their actions changed toward me. And eventually I was just like, yeah, I see what you was here for. But there were other moments where, because those moments happened to me, where I would have sex and the guy still was interested in me, but because that was my experience, I needed a lot of reassurance. So when I brought it to them, I'd be like, hey, are we good? We good? And they're like, we good. Like, you can trust me. I got you. And things kept trucking, right? Or there are moments where, y'all have kind of gotten into a groove and you notice that like his effort has dropped off a little bit because he's kind of getting comfortable. Men, they do this thing where they get comfortable quick, child. I don't know why they get comfortable that quick. It's not all of them, but a lot of them, they get comfortable way too quick, child. So like, when y'all been kicking it and he feel like he got you, he'll kind of start like falling off a little bit. Yeah. But I feel like if there was an instance that you can like track and you're like, okay, what makes me think he's losing interest? Is there an actual action that I can say? He used to do this, now he don't do this no more. He used to do this, now he don't do this no more. He used to do this, now he don't do this no more. Now that is something you can track. He might be losing interest because usually you can tell by the actions. When them actions switch up, something going on, right? But you're overthinking if you can't even track it by an action. You're just like, well, I feel like this, but you have no proof. Buki, you might be overthinking. You might be overthinking. But if you can track that action, in my scenario, he wasn't sending me good morning texts like he used to. He was very distant in conversations. Like, it just was different. Next question to ask yourself. Has he been open in communicating about the issue? So when a guy is really into you, the last thing they want to do is upset you. The last thing they want to do is continue an argument with you. So if something goes awry, they're going to make it their business to talk to you about it. They're going to make it their business to come to a solution to the issue. So you'll bring them an issue, they'll talk about the issue, and y'all can get past it. Even if you give them a little space, maybe give them a few hours, give them a day, cool. They'll be ready to talk about it. But if you're talking to someone who, when you try to talk about the issue, they try to act like it's not an issue, like you crazy, like what happened didn't happen. They're like, whatever is cool is cool. Kind of like, oh, buddy, talk about you should know what you did. If a guy loses interest, a lot of the times they don't care for a solution because they've lost interest in you anyway. So they don't want to resolve anything because in their minds it's over. And that's just the unfortunate part about it. So if you find that he's not really open to talking about it, he may have lost interest. You're not overthinking. He definitely might have lost interest. And again, he's doing a whole, I'm going to just fall back and be a butthole and let her end it. And you probably ask, why do men do that? I don't know, because I'm not a man, but I assume that a lot of men do this. I've asked my homeboys about this. They do it because they like an open door. If you end it, the door is still open. If they end it, the door is most likely closed. Because if they end it, most women are I'm not going to let you tell me you don't want me twice. So if they ended it, they're basically saying I don't want you. So you're not leaving that door open. But if you ended it and then they come back, it makes you kind of be a little bit more open to talking to them because you're like, well, I did end it. Maybe I can't get them a second chance. So they've kind of put you in control of that when in all reality, they knew what they were doing. It's a very funky ghetto game. Very funky and ghetto. All right, number 3. Is he creating distance? This is a telltale sign that you are not overthinking. Now, you have to define what creating distance looks like, though. Okay? Like, if he's like, hey, this week I'm going to be busy at work, like, and you trust and believe that he actually is busy at work because he has like a high demand job, then you can trust that. You might be overthinking if it's like, or if he got family in town or something like that, like, get a man some space. But if you see he's deliberately creating distance, like there are times when y'all usually would talk, but now he don't want to talk because he got some stupid excuse like, oh, I got a headache, or oh, I need to go wash my dog, or oh, I need to. If you can tell that person is creating distance and he's just not as intrigued, he's not as excited to talk to you on the phone, he's not as excited to spend time with you, he's probably lost interest. He probably has. You're not overthinking. So that's like a definite telltale sign that he has lost interest. And it sucks. Like, I'm telling you, like, it really, really sucks because he's creating distance again in hopes that you'll get the point and move on. Number 4. I think this is number 4. Has the topic of y'all conversation changed? Okay. I know for me and dude that I'm talking about in this scenario, we would talk about all kinds of stuff, but a lot of the stuff we would talk about would be future things that we would do together. Like, oh, and next month there's this event. Can we go here? Oh, in 2 months it's this event. Can we go here? All of that ceased. Like, it was finito. It was done. Like, it just wasn't what it was. Like, And he kept doing like a whole bunch of closing answers. Like typically he would be like, good morning, how's your day? What's going on? He would keep the conversation going. He would send me a good morning. And you know, women, we pay attention to everything. He used to send me a good morning and a sunshine emoji. Y'all, this man sent me a good morning and a black heart. I was like, sir, you're not even going to try to cover this up? We'll chat. But yeah, so that was a thing. And then like usually he'll be like, oh, how's your day? What's going on? And he wasn't keeping it going. It was just like, good morning. I was like, oh, how are you? He would just be like, I'm good, period. Like, sir, try to, like, you got to do better at trying to fake this. Like, or just tell me you don't want to talk to me no more. Don't waste my time. All right. And then the last thing is, what does your gut say? Listen, Linda. Your intuition is your best friend. Okay? Now, I will say there are moments in life where we're wrong. I've had moments in my life where my intuition was off. It was wrong. I didn't read into the things properly that I thought I was reading into. But if the guy was really for me, if you read into something and you bring it to him, he's going to, again, try to bring solution or resolution to the issue. He's not going to just let you walk away because, baby, you'll never be enough. You'll never be too much for the right person, period. Remember that. You'll never be too much you for the right person. So if your gut was wrong and you bring it to him and, you know, never accuse, always ask. Be like, hey, you know, I feel like something's going on. Like, can you tell me if we still good? Have you lost interest? Because I'm just wondering because, you know, I'm still interested in you. But like, what's going on? Very vulnerable question, but I like to get down to the nitty gritty. But trust your gut. If your gut is telling you, this fool playing with me, I'm finna get up out of here. I'm finna skedaddle. Just go ahead and skedaddle. Okay? And watch him not come after you. If he don't come after you, he done lost interest. Because a man who's still interested in you gonna come after you. It's really that simple. It's really 1 + 1 is 2. It's really that simple. Okay? Okay? So if he has lost interest, now what? Okay, it sucks. It sucks. But leave that man where he at. Leave that man where he had you effed up at. Okay? Because we're in this society right now where like people just don't have enough grace. Like people do not give enough grace. Now there are moments because I'm queen cut people off. I get it. I understand because I don't like wasting my time. And also I'm a lover girl. So when I'm in, I'm in. But when I realize that I can't be in no more, I got to be out. You feel me? But it's just certain moments to give people grace. Like people are going to make mistakes. And I'm not talking about like cheating or disrespecting you or putting hands on you type mistakes. I'm talking about like, you know, because you're getting to know somebody, y'all may not perceive, like communication is always the biggest struggle. So what I may be saying something to a person and the way they perceive it may be wrong on like how I'm trying to say it and what I'm trying to say may not be what they hear. So that is definitely draws a whole bunch of, that brings up a lot of strife in a lot of relationships, like miscommunication, but it's like in certain things, when it comes to miscommunication, it's so easy to just work with that person to try to get to the bottom line of things and work through it. But a lot of people just don't. Like you make one wrong sneeze and people be trying to cut you off. So if you're in a situation and a dude done lost interest over something stupid, something dumb, leave him where he at, because you don't want to be with nobody who don't offer you grace. Because a lot of these fools want you to give them grace, you to forgive them over their stuff, but they don't want to forgive you over your stuff. And it'd be the dumbest stuff. So don't feel bad. And again, just keep remembering and keep in mind, like, you will never be too much for the right person. Like, you didn't take an L. You did not. They just ain't compatible. Sometimes people just don't work. And that's what I'm realizing. Like, again, it's sad because you can like somebody, you can think a person is amazing, and you can have a good time with them. You can have great chemistry with them. But then at the end of the day, y'all can come to a point where y'all are not aligned, and alignment is everything. Y'all don't want the same things. Y'all don't want it in the same time period, and y'all just not a match. And that is okay. It is okay. It is not the end of the world. It's plenty fish in the sea. Okay. All right. So that's what I have for y'all today. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of more of my blog content just because I'm running out of stuff to talk about. Unless y'all can tell me what to talk about. Okay. All right. Well, like, comment, and share. Hopefully this helps somebody out. Share it with your brother, your mama, your sister, your cousin. If you're gonna rate me 5 stars. If you ain't gonna rate 5 stars, don't rate me none at all. On all the platforms like Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music and all of those things. Okay. All right, y'all. Until next time, bye.